Greetings and welcome to my Virgoans out there. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. Tarot of the Twin Sun is a functional division within the Order of the Twin Sun. Please take only what you will. There is, for the month of November 2022, there is essentially a lot going on in terms of some action that requires the attention of Virgo, particularly the affliction of Mercury and the higher degree of the South Node encompassing a stellium. This stellium essentially in the cusp of Scorpio in your third house. Okay. So there may be a lot of attention moving into the month of November with friend circles, your siblings, your peers, your neighborhood, your cities, wherever you live in. Okay. And this is activating also a sense of what you can grasp in terms of these relationships or these associations, okay, in a civil way. It's like trying to understand behaviors or human limitations in terms of what we can do in our most immediate environment, which is going to go through a lot of change, okay? Scorpio is a very touchy energy, and it also is extremely polarized. It has a lot of extremity when it comes to likes or dislikes. When it comes to authenticity, it's quite real, okay? And because of this also activates, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 houses away in an even more intense Mars in retrograde in the energy of Pisces. So when it comes to the actual action of the changes that need to occur on, I would say, a financial level, or in terms of your relationship with friends, in terms of their own stability, okay? Or when it comes to the lesson of trying to change the nature of trying to alchemize or convert our realities or our karmas into something else, it may be difficult in terms of what's actually going to result because of Pluto in Capricorn in your 5th and Mars in retrograde in your 10th house. Okay, there is some difficulty. Certain relationships will definitely help you out in terms of finding a creative way or creative means to negotiate with either others or with karmas of others. People are generally, the people that you associate with, that you deal with, that may be even close to you, are they're dealing with a block to doing the right thing, okay? And that sounds very vague, but it has to do with essentially a block when it comes to acting in the right way. The thing is that these people are somewhat beguiled by the retrograde action of Jupiter and Neptune in conjunction in Pisces in your 7th house. Okay, so some of their actions, what they're doing, may not be sort of the best in terms of providing the right outcome, doing the right thing, because both of their choices seem to be messed up in some sort of way. There's an element of apprehension or fear in which they do. Therefore, there's a need to somewhat embrace a lighter attitude, to look for solar energy, and you encompass that with this stellium. And because it's in combustion with 3 other planets, including the South Node, there's a lot that has to do with ego death and producing the effect of what needs to occur, okay, what needs to happen in terms of fostering a way of thinking, fostering a way of doing things, in terms of also defining your own inner self, okay? Yeah, because the moon in Aquarius, okay, in November, early November, is also going to produce the effect of trying to find out a way to, I would say, transform some of the more the difficult aspects of trying to find out which reality or which timeline to believe in. Okay, there is something of a limbo period here, not too heavily afflicted, but certainly producing the effect of not trying too hard to find the right way to think, the right way to do things. I mean, with the ninth house being placed within Taurian energy and the sort of instability of guru here, of the ninth house, of the teaching house, of the higher intellectual house, the capacity of the mind, intellectual mind, with the North Node and Uranus in conjunct in retrograde in Taurus, there's difficulty in finding a sense of a grounded perspective, a grounded way to do things. Okay, you have to look to friends and to look to their own disillusionment with their environment, the unluck they have, generally speaking, with their own existence, their existential mind. Okay, and it's not really a crisis. But it's something close to that. And there's a lot that they need to do in terms of right action, but they just can't find the right action to do such a thing. But other relationships, their relationships to children, their relationships to the inner child, to Leonic energy, will essentially help purify and transform anything that has to do with our reality, what we're grounded on. Okay, so there's an element of grounding that can be found through that, and that's what I have for the month of November. Now we're gonna move into the Great Mirror. The Great Mirror is a tool devised by the Order of the Twin Sun in order to see particular karmas that may be affecting certain relationships that you have with others. One particular other in specific, and essentially we'll be looking into the Great Mirror on 3 different levels. Okay, that should show us some insight into a specific relationship. So I've already generated the cards. They're all in the upright. Can't do reversals in this program so far, and this is not a permanent thing. I'm just doing it for ease ease of access to tarot. And there's something very tactile about having, an older deck and filming that with the hands, which activates Mercury. So we'll be going into that eventually in the coming months. What I'm seeing here in the Great Mirror is an activation of your 9th house. This person helps you to think in a certain way, to be devoted to a type of truth. They activate an element of devotion. You see them as very devoted to something above them. At the same time, they are grounded and they are held in suspense. They are trying to do the right thing, the right action from one commitment to another. Generally speaking, though, they are committed to a higher force. With the Hierophant card, and what they want to do is essentially come up with a clear way of thinking, but the obvious detriment of that with the 8 of Swords is that they won't be able to do anything in terms of trying to reach out or anything like that. They don't want to reach out. There's something about them that's very constricted in terms of what they're devoted to, what they're promised to. And primarily, the soul essence of this reading on their side has to do with 2 of Pentacles, Mercury activation, along with Venus, along with some, I would say Saturnian, excuse me, air. So that would be either Libra in exaltation or Aquarius. Is primarily what I'm seeing. So there's a part of them that would rather feel the pain on their own of what they are responsible for. And in this situation, they're constantly trying to balance out something in terms of commitments, okay? different pentacles. With the Two of Pentacles, usually there is a focus of self-importance, but also there is something universal about what they do by focusing on the self. So that's generally what I'm seeing here. I think you desire not to interfere. There's something about you that would rather bring your cup or your chalice elsewhere. But that you are symbolized through fertility on a conscious level. You are dominated by Venus, so as are they, but then it's Venus of a different form. Okay, both are tied to Taurus's energy, but also it has the ability to escalate to Libra here with the Hierophant. And also there is Venus's influence in both of them. Okay, and Venus is the light bringer. It's the rising star and the falling star. It's one of the mysterious forms of knowledge, but it also grants us great wealth, okay? As seen with the Empress as well as the Hierophant. Hierophant is more spiritual wealth. The Empress is more natural wealth in terms of beauty and richness in terms of the earthly realm. So it's very intense, this type of connection, because it's all major arcana in the conscious row here. And the Emperor evolves out of this. So it moves from Venus's energy into Mars's energy in between you two. So the interesting thing about Venus is that on the low, in an esoteric way, it actually is the counterpart to Mars. And Mars is the natural counterpart to Venus, activates both the first and the seventh house. There's a need to be selfless, but also selfish at the same time here in order to gain some sort of energetic sort of propriety. This has to do with essentially coming to culmination, or coming to a sense of power through the throne. Okay, and the throne encompasses here, all of them, all of the archetypal figures of the Emperor, the Empress, and the Hierophant. Okay. The thing is that out of the three, the Hierophant is the only one that has worshippers, these two monks that look up at the Hierophant. The Empress is reclined, and then the Emperor sits on a throne that is based on the remnants of Saturn, okay, moving into Pisces and then into the first house. And what I'm seeing here is something that has caught the mind of each other. And with the Empress's energy on Virgo's side and your side, there's an ability to fall into a type of ease with this type of connection. There is a grace that encompasses both of your perceptions of each other, and it empowers each other. Okay, so this is generally speaking a good read, at least consciously. I think there is a deep connection, but because of such magic and such subconscious activity, the sanskars and the sansars that are essentially culminating to the Six of Cups, there's difficulty and regret in finding innocence in all of this, because of all the empowerment that goes on a conscious level and all the raising up onto certain pedestals and thrones. There's difficulty to finding the enchantment inside of it all. There's an element of class, dignity, and grace in this type of connection, and also servitude to a higher call. And the king can also be seen, the emperor can also be seen as a servant for the masses. There's a lot that has to do with Saturn here. So Venus, Saturn, they get on well together, because ultimately it has to do with the culmination of Saturn's lesson by taking it easy through Venus's lightness. Okay. And essentially throughout time, throughout the energy of time, empowerment comes. The thing is that the Queen of Cups, she faces away from detriment, from anyone who is stuck or who feels pity in some sort of way. The thing is that there still is some sort of good intention in all of the Six of Cups. There's an undercord or an underbelly, and a seed or an inkling of goodness in this type of connection. Four of Swords is here, so a type of mirroring occurs on the subconscious and unconscious realms, where you need to find a sense of peace in what you do. At the same time, there's difficulty. There's a lot of action in the mind of this person, and it is also somewhat influenced by the stellar lunations that occur in the sky, as well as the celestial bodies. They are heavily affected, kind of like the stars' energy, heavily affected by the influence of the first movers. Okay. And in such, they are trying to understand on a deeper level their own significance to this type of interplay. You have enough in you to find the peace and to find the equilibrium, the harmony of what you do, and to know where to offer your cup. Okay, the thing is that if you actually were to offer this to a situation outside of a place that excludes this person, some of that innocence will be lost, because it would result in the Five of Clubs, a type of regret sequence. But what it further fuels is the Seven of Wands, the need to create barriers, the need to stand by one's own truth authentically. For you, it's the need to find peace above all, and for there to be a type of balance in this. So ultimately, I'm finding that this reading, it boils down to the idea that you can find yourself, that they can find themselves, that they can deal with their own issues before coming to whatever this connection means. I think on a conscious level, it means a rise to power of some sort, an element of faith and giving faith, forgiving faith, and all of that. So it's a very interesting reading for the month of November. At any rate, I do wish you well. I do thank you for your time, and please like if you will. Please subscribe for future content, and thank you for your time. Bye-bye.